Okay, brief intermission, and we're back. And I will just edit this together, and not very well, because I don't, guys, I've only got so much bandwidth. I mean, sometimes there's such a thing in this world as good enough, and we're going to go with that. Where were we? And so many people who were hanging out, and I'm so glad there were. Sorry I had to go, but this will be maybe a great cliffhanger sort of edit moment, and people will have to go to my YouTube channel and all of those things. Where were we? BSC Guffrey. Here comes the cavalry. Now it's gonna get weird. Put your energy reading bubble suit on, Frankie babe. Your human mind won't be able to translate to English subtitles, but you'll get the gist if you feel attention. PRB Frankie. Ha! Pay attention by feeling. Feel attention. Nice one. I'll try to remember that. Dream shift understanding explanation to commence. You'll get what I mean if you feel your way through it with me, friends and neighbors. From every direction I could consciously and visually conceive of, a flooding of white golden fog rolled in. The heroes were coming. Now every counterpart to the shadow aspects of human creation rode their white horses to the scene. Angelic beings, comic book heroes, Red Cross workers. All the opposites of what human beings tend to believe as being evil, corrupt, or dysfunctional in humanoid form inundated the buildings and streets. And pause for Lucy to bark. Yes, that is Lubabe. Thank you, Lubabe. Again, thanking everyone for their patience. I'm not going to edit this out because I do need a podcast studio that's soundproof. Again, donation link in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, do all the things. Lucy. I am aware. I'm doing my best to send her some Reiki so that she'll calm down. Thank you, Lube. I understand. I am very aware. I mean, witches and vampires, my friends alike, don't we all know that your familiar, as much as you are connected to them, can sometimes interrupt your TikTok live and or story time reading sauce? That's okay. We will allow it. Imperfection is the new perfection. Here we go. I focused my conscious awareness back into the physical dream body I incarnated as and sat with Guffrey on the tilting edge of the warehouse roof to pay my feeling attention to the scene. What I shall endeavor to express to you now, as Frankie fitted as I possibly can, given the human paradigm parameters I understand many humans to work in, is the energetic conversation occurring between the hero cloud and the villain throng. The blockbuster movie Hero Confederation, comprised of embodied versions of all that humanity generally deems righteous, correct, and morally valid, started their proceedings in the usual wave of, "You've been captured." Well, I guess maybe we're just waiting for more people to join, is what Lucy thinks we're doing. That's fine. Hello, Beatrice. Thank you for joining, darling. As soon as Lucy babe, Mulu, my precious little darling corgi, who is written into my story and also real life on the floor, is done being upset about there being other humans outside of our domicile, I shall continue my story reading. Lube. Again, I'm not going to edit this out. If anything, this is the universe in demonstrating there is such a thing as good enough. Just put your stuff and yourself out there. I mean, the curated is unreal, is it not? Anyway, The blockbuster movie Hero Confederation, comprised of embodied versions of all that humanity generally deems righteous, correct, and morally valid, started their proceedings in the usual wave of, "You've been captured, now hands behind your back," type stance that we expect from the goodness authority in creation. However, whereas the intended emotion to be elicited from this scene generally is resolution and justice of the highest order being served, the heroes themselves became almost instantly confused by the absolute lack of any such vibe of "the good guys won again" being present in the moment. Standard expectations of relief or celebration and all the villains being readily apprehendable was entirely absent from the ether. How can I put it to you, fam, in a way that fully encapsulates what was occurring? It wasn't that the masses of evildoers and harbingers of chaos were depressed or sad, not defeated or even remorseful or penitent. In the air of the response of the villains to the heroes, there was something adjacent to apathy, yet far more profound. I suppose if you were spiritually inclined, you might call it transcendent. PRB Frankie. Ah, the villains worked it out first in this time-space pie slice. BSC Guffrey. Infinity may be infinite, but in the materialized worlds of humanity, more often than not, the darkness usually does have it figured out well before the light ever does. It's like this, FrankiVerse fam. See, heroes and villains, good and evil, righteous and putrid, they're all the same. It's all creation seen through various lenses. None of it is better or worse than the other, more valuable or more important than the other. The truth of this holographic reality game we experience as humans is that it all comes down to preferred and not preferred. It's individual to every fractal consciousness embodied human, and it's collective to cultures, families, friend groups. But there isn't one option or path definition that is ultimately correct or best ascended. Every timeline is the highest timeline. All of creation is simultaneously magnificently monumental in consequence and utterly, profoundly insignificant. And the heroes were at a loss, befuddled, disillusioned, dizzier in the daydream than a flock of flamingos drunk on Guffrey specials and stumbling blearily on a beach in Australia. Whoosh, clunk. From somewhere to the southwest of my physical personage, a sound like a power grid shutting off caught my attention. Not the attention of the Hero Society, but my dream state alter consciousness distinctly noticed it. And so did the villain stock. I felt it. In the vicinity of the warehouse where the vibratory pulse originated, hero characters and their villain counterparts began to go out like lights. Not pop out of existence dramatically, not vanish like ghosts. They just went out of the frame of existence, like a light switch being flipped off. BSC Guffrey. There they go. Can you feel it? I almost choked on the last bite of my salami sensation on bread as I felt the shock of what the hero gang was feeling. Sheer, unfiltered, terrified panic. The heroes were freaking out. Filling with the nameless rage that is our human go-to when met with the quiet, ineffable staunchness that is death's stable realm of darkness and void, the hero masses began lashing out violently at the villains. Screaming into every calm clown face, every hero in human imagination and history sought to stir the epic battle they expected to fight and win. No dice. The thing about war is that it needs two sides. What do heroes do when they have no evil contrast to show them as the victorious light they perceive themselves to be? If the dream scene I looked and felt upon with Guffrey from the rooftop was any indicator, without evil to vanquish, the goodness authority simply ceased to be. Death, my darling girl, my beautiful friend, my endless portal into the chasms of unknowable nothingness from whence all of reality springs forth. It is an honor to PR publicize your Humanity Life review here in this realization of what shadows truly allow for. Choice. Free will. Human rule inventing and civilization building has a commonality in this earthly dimension. It restricts freedom out of lack of trust. We have a highly unusual concept of the need for law and order, because we have no faith in the harmonious free will synergy that infinite intelligence orchestrates effortlessly in every moment. And now the villains understood it. Hero reality as they knew it to be was collapsing in every direction. Not because the villains had succeeded in some delirious plot to end the world or the universe, but because they surrendered to the natural evolution of all things. They allowed the shift to occur. From a quadrant of this collapsing paradigm that was northeast of my Frankie-bodied self and Guffrey's DMT clown visage, there came another ripple of vibra-sound that went unnoticed by the spiraling heroes. Not even the villain brigade noticed this one. PRB Frankie. What's this new flavor of creation now? Opposite to the prior pulse of frequency that was a power grid shutting down, this sound was unmistakably that of a new power structure coming to life. In a pocket of nebulous quantum atoms, drawing in upon itself from the energy that had been switching off in the void, a very Harley Quinn-esque pixie from the villain side of the spectrum fluttered out of her corner of the cliched warehouse and came to rest next to a Thor Archangel Michael-looking good guy entity. He was sitting in a sort of lotus position, with his hands open and outstretched to the unfolding spectacle between good and evil, as if sending energy to it in hopes of a happier outcome. Again, because DMT realm awareness is much the same as astral dream time, I knew at once that this angel, though labeled a member of the Goodness Authority, had not joined his comrades in their state of panic and ensuing beastly rage. He had been looking upon the scene with love for both sides, but clearly was unsure of how to save both the golden light and the shadows being blinked out of existence. From underneath one of her wings, the pixie produced a pen and offered it to the angel. Accepting it gracefully, the angel stood to face the pixie, still unsure, but open-hearted. The little pixie opened her hand, and in it appeared a notebook, glowing gold and full of blank pages. BSC Guffrey. Guess you'll end up telling a love story after all, eh, Frankie babe? PRB Frankie. Much like that most excellent salami sandwich, don't mind if I do. I do love love as much as my good friend Amax does. I'm more than happy to do some PR for whatever new transcendent stories that pair create together. And if I do say so myself, good on that little crazy pixie. That's a good-looking angel she snagged. Do I get a sneak peek at the timeline reality upgrade they get rolling? Or are we gonna go grab a snack? BSC Guffrey. Yeah, I suppose we can leave the winged love bugs to go off on their adventure time and check back in with them later. Actually, you should check in on Lucy again. You've taken her outside since bath time, and she's finding more things to roll in. PRB Frankie. Ha! Well, 10 more points to Lou babe then. Back to Earth, Italy, and I'll get some chicken primavera to share with her. You in? And before I could dream state watch the final moments of the villain and hero power grid flickering out of existence, baby sister clown Guffrey had tossed me back to my Earth human timeline reality and incarnated beautifully as my actual baby sister. Big Mac Earth Sis. Bro, you're just letting Lucy roll in that dead fish right now and you just gave her a bath. PRB Frankie. Kenna! It's okay. I can get her back in the tub again while you order some takeout for us. You'll never guess what your clown self just showed me in DMT land. Big Mac Earthsis. A shorter leash for Lucy? PRB Frankie. Hi, yeah, all right, message received. Lube, back to the tub. And back to your regularly scheduled human activities in the living worlds, friends and neighbors. Thanks for going along for the ride. Death, my good friend. Thank you for trusting Frankie with the keys to the kingdom, as it were. I shall endeavor to hold your space as enigmatically as you ever did in your honor. Just with more snacks on my watch, if it's all the same to you. And thank you for joining, everyone, for my little finished story time. Thank you for everyone watching on YouTube and listening in the podcast spaces when I have this edited together. And isn't it fun to experience time as being not real, just a construct, wibbly-wobbly Doctor Who, because I'm here live with some folks, but later you'll be listening to this and it'll all be edited together. It is already done in your timeline. How nice for you. Anyway, this has been Straight from Death, existence as told by the Reaper herself. And it has been taken over by Frankie, and you can get more Adventures of Abernathy Franklin on Frankie's Podcast Network and FrankiVerse Fiction. Check out Frankie's Podcast Network on all the podcast places, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google. You know where they are. You know where you find your stuff. Just Google me. I mean, look me up. You can find me. It's not hard. The multiverse has made it easy for all of us. And so thank you. Have a beautiful day. Love bubbles to all of you from Haleigh Babe, FrankiVerse Media, Frankie's Podcast Network hosts and fam. Do check out all of the links that are in the description of what will be this video. I do have spaces where you can donate to support our keeping the lights on, keeping things going, having the bandwidth to create more edutainment, entertainment, multidimensional, magnificent magics for all of you, because it brings us the highest joy. And thank you again to whosoever created this filter, because it's so very fun. I enjoy it so very much. And if I do become a multi-million-dollar magnate of media and creativity, or in the timeline where I do, I have already given you some kind of, I don't know, royalty fees or something, because this is great. Anyway, much love. Bye, everybody.